She's been waiting patiently.
So you mentioned the battle after having been exonerated, and I was curious if you could walk through the things that kind of go under the radar that aren't really seen, and the things that you still face on a daily basis in your personal lives related to the case, and how you emotionally cope with that.
Yeah, and I think for me that's the part, right? Because you get through exoneration. We fight on numerous bills, right, with the Innocence Project, right? We partner with Rebecca, fight for numerous bills. But and then there's this thing, personally, right? The trauma. Like, we lost the whole childhood. What do you do, right? And how do you deal with that? And so, and then there's life, right? Because we're in our 40s, we have families, so now you have to be an adult. But you still battle with this kid sometimes that's inside. So you just got to learn how to balance and how to take life one day at a time. It becomes part of like I learned because I'm recently divorced. And so for me, you had to go back and look at that and then try to grow from it. Like, what do I do? Well, maybe next time take your time, right? It's not hard. When it's about you, nobody can tell you how to move in your process. Nobody can give you a timetable. Nobody can give you a time limit on it. It's up to you, and it's when you heal and how you heal. And so for me, you just take it one day at a time, and you just cope. And as time goes on, you will heal eventually. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, that's what it is, because this is just a constant battle that we've been through, and it never lets up. And I'm like, what is it? What happens the day that there's like no injustice? What do we do? Like, we'll be sitting here looking at each other like, so, and it's unfortunate, right? Like, we would love to have that problem. We would, but it's personally, for me, that becomes the new battle. You know, when you got to deal with the internal trauma and the demons that you deal with within yourself, and how do you cope with it? Because nobody cares. Yeah. Your bills still got to be paid. You still got to be at work on time. The kids don't care. Right? When Jenny come in the room, she don't want to hear that. My time, Daddy, let's go. Yeah. You know, so again, you have to play the back fiddle and just figure it out.
Yeah, you know, it's a healing process, you know. One thing I know as men, and especially men of color, we struggle with letting our emotions out. You know, mental health is serious.
Yeah.
You know, PTSD is serious. It's a thing. It's real. And I think I could speak for my brothers that we all go through that. You know, but you said one day at a time, we just got to keep fighting the fight. And when I look at my kids, that's what keeps me motivated. And look at my family, the people that's looking up to us. You know, that's letting people know that we have an important piece in this fight. You know, so. But it's real to go through. But we have to just keep staying strong and just keep battling, because like I said, people see us and they think that, I appreciate it that people look up to us like that, but we are human. You know, we all are the same, just like you, but we do take the responsibility of fighting the fight, and unfortunately we've been used as scapegoats, but it's for the greater good of the generation behind us to keep pushing it forward. So if it's on that level, I'll take it. As long as the others behind us will learn from what we've been through.
So are there other questions?
Yeah, that's questions.
I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit about how do you process through the process of false confession, having incriminated yourselves, and then not only yourselves, but your friends. You guys seem to have stayed close, throughout the process, throughout and after. And then also learning how, not only for yourself, but learning that your friends also had a part in incriminating you, and how did you deal with that as a group?
I know for me, because I didn't know Kevin. I didn't know Yusuf. I didn't know Corey. I didn't know Antron. Right? So Kevin is the picture that's put in front of me, because what I didn't know was that before that he got tackled by the police officer and he got hit in the face with the helmet. So when they bring me the photo, and this is 15 to 30 hours of interrogation, and I'm at a point of helplessness, right? And so when he puts the photo in front of me, and he says, do you know him? And I go, no. And he says, well, this is Kevin. And he says, well, we know he's going to jail, but I don't want you to go to jail. So I need your help. I need something on him. And then he sat back. And as a 14-year-old kid, my mind is racing. I don't know what to do, so I just lie. Kevin did it. But what did he do, Raymond? I don't know. So now he has to walk me through the steps. I don't know what a rape is supposed to look like. So he has to sit there and tell me, well, we know Kevin has the scratch, so he must have did something. All right, well, he raped a woman. Well, what about Antron? Well, I don't know. Where do I place him? Come on, Raymond, you got to give me something. They in the other precinct. They talking about you. I don't want you to go to jail. You got to help me. And so he helped me put together the story. That's why it's only Kevin, Antron, and Stephen Lopez in my statement, because these are the names that he gave me. And then at the end, he says, okay, and he knows these are seasoned veteran detectives. Let's get that straight. 20 plus years on the force, the elite of the police department. We're 14 and 15-year-old kids who never been arrested before. The unknown, right? And so he says, in order for it to be believable, you have to be there. You have to place yourself at the scene. Now, what's your role? So I pick what I think is minimum. Oh yeah, I reach over and I grab her breast. But there's no mud on my pants, right? And so he takes it. He takes it and he writes it down. And at this point, he says, you're doing good. You're going to go home. I just need your help, right? And so, but let me back up before that. Before we actually get to that point, I'm going through the good cop, bad cop scenario within that 15 to 30 hours, right? It gets to a point that Arroyo bangs on the table and he says, I'm tired of this shit, and he reaches over like he's going to grab me. And at that moment, I'm thinking, I'm dead, I'm not going to make it out the precinct. And in the same instance, another detective by the name of Detective Hardigan jumps in and stops him. What are you doing? You crazy? Get out the room. Don't talk to him like that. And at that point, I feel like he saved my life. So this is the setup, right? So now I trust him because I feel like he saved me, and he's trying to help me. And then he tells me he's trying to help me, right? And so now when you fast forward and you get to the end part, and he says, well, you have to, in order to be believable, you have to be there. So I place myself there. And then he says, okay, now technically it's illegal. My parent is not in the room. It's just me and him. The statement is 2.5 pages long. But he has me hook, line, and sink and think I'm going home. So what he tells me, go to the next precinct. I need you to do 2 more things for me. You're going to go to the next precinct. You're going to tell them the same story, and you're going to do a video. Now, my next statement is 5 pages long, right? Because now I get into it. I'm being interviewed by Detective Sheen, who's more of a veteran. And so it becomes 5 pages long, and then it goes to a videotape. By that time, it's done. It's over. And so now, only thing that we don't know this, right? They take our clothing, right? They test it. There's no match to another clothing. They take handprints, footprints, hair samples, blood samples. Nothing matches, right? And so now we're sitting there like, okay, nothing matches. Where do we go from here? And they said, you're still guilty. And everybody bought it. So this is how destructive wrongful confessions become, right? Because what happens is that nobody thought with logic. Everybody just ran on emotion. There's a woman who lost all this blood. We don't know if she's going to make it. It's almost a homicide case, and it's 5 black and Latino kids. And then now the media is on it from day one. They're tearing the story apart. So we never got a fair trial. It was already lopsided. The playing field was uneven, right? And so again, that's why I stated earlier that when you put out the emotional appeal and everybody buys it, then you understand, hey, we got away with it. Mateus got away with the crime, and the system got away with locking us up. Yeah.
So well put. I think with that, we're gonna wrap, but I just want to really, first of all, acknowledge Kevin and Raymond. We are so grateful for you to share again. I mean, I think every time you have to share, going through it again. So we just really want to thank you so much for your time and just everything that you're doing to, in Kevin's words, fight the fight. And to help us fight the fight, please visit our website at www.innocenceproject.org to learn about a range of policy campaigns happening here in New York State and around the country. And also follow us on our social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you know, the whole thing. So thank you so much for having us.